As always, Ted, kick us off. Who do you have as your winner of the week?
Baker Mayfield.
Nice.
Another great week from him. He's been so fun to watch. Just they stomped all over the Eagles. He had a huge day. 30 of 47 for 347, a couple of touchdowns, no interceptions, and ran one in. He continues to be fantastic. The Tampa Bay Bucks continue to be a very entertaining team to watch. Um, they've got a good leg up there in the division in the South. They got a big one this week, but Atlanta's showing some signs. New Orleans looked good in the first couple of games. They've lost two straight, but Tampa Bay's cruising pretty good, man.
What do you think? He's been a top 10, top 12 quarterback in the NFL this year?
Five.
Top five. I'm all for that.
You think
I
that's too high?
well, I think QBR is what it is, right? And I don't think anyone really knows how that formula works, but I think he's 12th in QBR. Yeah, he's 12th. He's one spot in front of some guy named Patrick Mahomes. But when you look at the old school just QB rating formula, it's for simpler guys like me.
Mm-hmm.
I think traditional QB rating, he's fourth in the league.
Yeah. I
But
think he's top five in yards. He's been efficient. They're a 3-1 football team.
that's the most important thing is they're a 3-1 football team and leading the division. I mean,
Yeah.
that's ultimately you can look at all the stats you want, but it's about winning football games.
Yeah. Now, does it continue on that trajectory? I mean, we'll see, but I mean, up to this point, I'd say, I mean, that's where I'd put him. I mean, to me, clearly in the top 10.
Is the Broncos going to Tampa Bay and just hammering the Bucks maybe the most confusing game of the NFL season?
It is. It's weird how some of those random things happen in the league. It's like just to keep everyone guessing because they were playing awesome going into that. And you thought, oh, this is a sure thing. But yeah, that's a strange one for sure.
Was awesome seeing Baker connect with Sterling Shepard in
Yes,
that game against the Eagles. And
that
I
was great.
saw
That's good.
he's been Shep has been kind of bouncing back and forth between the practice squad and the active roster. And I saw something that's no longer going to happen. He's just going to be cemented there on the 53-man roster. And that's what happens when you
No,
go out in games and you make plays.
that's right. That's right. That's awesome to see. Now, what have you thought about the little back and forth between Tom Brady and Baker Mayfield?
I I think it's very on brand for Baker.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's right. Like I don't disagree with what he said. I have to imagine that when you've got Tom Brady in the locker room, and I never played with Tom Brady, but I have to imagine there's a certain seriousness that comes with it.
Mm-hmm.
And you really can't argue with the approach with what that guy's accomplished.
No.
But there's no doubt Baker's probably a more laid back, like fun type of guy. I have to imagine if you are, and maybe this is the best way to put it, if you are a young player, you probably weren't extremely comfortable walking up to Tom Brady and be like, "Hey man, how's it going?"
Right.
I don't think that's an issue with Baker. And I think both ways are fine. And I think Brady's response, like, oh, I didn't like Super Bowls is the goal, and that's what we did. So I get both sides of it.
I do too. Um, everyone's different, and there's no one way to do it. Now, it's hard to argue and say that there's a better way to do it than Tom Brady. I mean, the results are the results. But I, I mean, Tom Brady is kind of like a Peyton Manning. Baker Mayfield is kind of like a Brett Favre. Like there's two different styles there, and I think a guy like Patrick Mahomes is kind of like the mix between the two, isn't he? So I think there's guys that are all across that spectrum, and I thought Baker handled it all really well though. I mean, it's the old saying, man. The more any publicity is good publicity, right?
I will say I'm glad that Brady showed a little personality
Yeah.
and talking about it. That's good. Like that's what I want. I want to know how Tom Brady actually feels when he's calling games and doing these things. So I'm all for it.
Isn't it awesome though? Like he said to me, the stressful thing was not having won a championship there. Like that's where the stress lies. It's not necessarily the preparation and getting ready and all of those things. It's the fact that we haven't accomplished what we were supposed to accomplish yet. I mean, that's a cool way of viewing things.
I think no one's gonna question Tom Brady's methods. You just can't, right?
Nope.
He's the best winner ever in the NFL. So you kind of just have to say, "Hey, man, you did it your way. It clearly was awesome, but there's a different way of doing it." And I think that if the Bucks go on to have a really good season, I'm not picking them to win the Super Bowl or anything. Sure would be awesome if they did, but I getting in an argument about Tom Brady with Tom Brady about how
How do you
yeah, about
lead
like
your
just how to
team?
do really anything is kind of a losing argument.
Well, here's the thing though. You have to be who you are.
Yeah, no
If
doubt.
Baker Mayfield, and I think at times because of situation and stuff, maybe in Cleveland, Baker was forced to be someone he's not. Baker is a fun-loving, energetic, like he's a man of the people type of player, and that's where he gets his confidence from. He plays better whenever he's himself and he's outgoing, and there's just people have to be who they are. So I don't think there's anything to be upset about if you're Baker Mayfield.
Completely agree. Who do you have as your loser of the week?
Minnesota. Did you see the onside kick against Michigan?
I did.
Which, for those
No
that
one
don't
was
know,
offsides.
no, Michigan had a huge lead over Minnesota in the fourth quarter. Minnesota has a crazy comeback. They were down what 24-3, I believe, and they come flying back into the football game and they onside kick it with about a minute and a half left, recover it, but an official throws an offsides flag, and it's a bad flag, and it's one that you never throw. You don't drop that flag unless it's egregious. That's how that play has always been handled. So they've said they've changed the way that they're going to do that. I guess they're going to have guys positioned in different spots now. The Big Ten officials are, but dude, you hate that because they had some crazy momentum at the time and would have had the football in really good field position.
You know what's funny is that the Big Ten, they're changing the way that they're doing it. I think like the line where the ball's being kicked, they're going to put two officials there instead of one. That's the change they're making. They put some statement out about that, but they also didn't acknowledge that they messed up and they got it wrong. It
Yeah,
just if I was a Golden Gopher, I'd be pissed. I'm like, oh, thanks for changing the rule.
I thought did they not? I thought they did say that they it should not have been called,
The Big
but
Ten, in a statement, did not acknowledge the call was incorrect, is
gotcha.
what I read on an ESPN article.
I must have read just like an opinion
How
after.
is that not? So it's not reviewable.
Correct.
We can review everything. Why can you not review if a guy's past the line when the ball is kicked or not when they recover an onside kick?
It's probably one of those things that goes back to like slowing down the game,
We
right?
review all kinds of stupid stuff.
It should be just like in the last 2 minutes of a game, like or put whatever number on it you want. everything should be reviewed and make sure they get it right. And my other thing is like, if it's so easy that it takes someone in the review booth can look at it in 10 seconds and say you need to pick the flag up, like they should just do that.
Yeah.
Which I think they do at times when they get together and have those extended huddles. I feel like they're waiting on someone to tell them something.
I cannot confirm nor deny that. I do. You got to be so pissed if you're PJ Fleck in
Yeah.
Minnesota. Like, oh, thanks for changing how you're going to look at those situations when you completely screwed ours up and cost us a chance to possibly go get a huge win.
Yep. Perfect kick. Great
Oh,
kick. Not
perfect
offside.
execution, not offsides. Perfect recovery.
I mean,
Special teams
offsides is
coordinator
it's
thrilled.
called a lot on onside kicks, but it's called a lot whenever it's clearly egregious and clearly offsides. I mean, it has to be very definitive to call that, in my opinion.
I'm with you. All right, let's finish up with my winner and loser. But first, we know we've got some nicotine pouch users that listen, which is why we like to introduce you to all our friends at Lucy. Go to lucy.co, that's lucy.co, and use promo code breakdown at checkout for 20% off your first order. That's lucy.co and use promo code breakdown. Lucy's pouches come in a variety of strengths from 4 milligrams all the way up to 12 milligrams. The fours are all that we need, perfect for the golf course, but I know some of y'all want those 12s.
Woo.
Lucy offers a variety of flavors, including classics like wintergreen and mint, but they also have got apple ice, espresso, and mango. And if pouches aren't your thing, don't worry. Lucy's got gum as well. So why Lucy instead of Zen? Lucy delivers to your house. It's that simple. That's why. Also, they sponsor the podcast. You can even set up a subscription and get your favorites delivered every 30 days. Go to lucy.co and use promo code breakdown for 20% off your first order. Lucy products are for adults of legal age, and every order is age verified. Warning: the product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. For my winner of the week, Ashton Jeanty, running back, Boise State.
Woo.
People now know, Ted.
Oh my gosh.
You and I talked about this young man after we watched the Boise Oregon game, going, whoa, look
Yeah.
at this guy. And it seems that this is the week that everyone has discovered what Boise State has in Ashton Jeanty. Boise's up to number 21 in the AP poll. This guy is finally getting the attention he deserves. I mean, going back and thinking about that Oregon game, I think he had 192 and 3 touchdowns against the Ducks.
He is like he's one of the best running backs I've seen in a while in college football.
This dude is the truth.
Oh my, yeah,
His,
without a doubt, the
his
truth.
performance against Washington State, you go and watch the highlights of that. He had 259 yards rushing and 4 touchdowns against Washington State.
And it ain't like they're blowing massive holes open either. He's breaks like 8 tackles on every run.
He is breaking more tackles than I just even thought was possible.
Yeah,
And through 4 games, 845 yards rushing. He's averaging 10.3 a carry. He's scored 13 touchdowns. This guy is insane, and he's finally getting the attention that he deserves. And I've never been an on pace guy, but you crunch some numbers real quick. He's on pace for 3,380 yards rushing and 52 touchdowns.
well, and it's not like he's going to be playing Ohio State, Michigan, Alabama, and Georgia the rest of the way out.
I I did, by the way, that I just kind of made those numbers up. I don't know if that's right or not, but he is on pace for just a ridiculous season. And it's getting me it's starting to make me wonder, and there's a whole lot of football to be played. But we've talked about Travis Hunter and Jalen Milroe, and I think you gotta you probably I think those are the two guys right now when you talk about the Heisman Trophy that are in the lead, Hunter and Milroe. I think Ashton Jeanty is in the conversation now. Like people are starting to talk about him being a serious candidate to win the Heisman Trophy this season. And I'm starting to wonder what it would take for him to win it. Boise's probably got to go undefeated.
Yeah.
What does he have to rush for? 2,600, 2,700? Does he got to break Barry Sanders' record? Barry Sanders' record in 88 was 2,628 yards.
Yeah. That I can't that Barry Sanders year is stupid. I think his like total yards is something like that's even that it's like mind blowing because I think he was returning punts and kickoffs and stuff too. It's
Just
crazy.
an unbelievable football player.
Um, I
Do
don't know.
yourself a favor. If you've never watched Barry Sanders 1988 highlights, go do it. It's breathtaking.
Yes, it is. Um, I don't know, man. It's hard to say. Kind of, I think it's maybe more like as long as he stays healthy, I got no question about what his numbers are going to look like. His numbers are going to be plenty to win the Heisman Trophy if he's healthy. It may have to do with what does everyone else do, and how big, like Travis Hunter, if Colorado's able to win some of these big games down the stretch, it's going to be really hard because of the media attention. Um, like Milroe after that big win, right, some of those guys have such big games that if they continue to win them, it's going to be hard to unseat them. But his numbers are going to be there without a doubt. Do you know what is he a senior, junior, senior? What is he?
I I'm not sure. I know this. It's his last season of college football.
Well, I was about to say if it's not his last season of college football, buddy, that
Junior.
man,
It doesn't have to be. He's a junior.
hey, he might make more in college football next year than he would as a running back in the NFL.
I don't think that's an outlandish thing to say. I think he is.
Well, I
He's
guess
going to
where
be
Bijan
RB1.
got drafted where was he drafted?
Yeah, Bijan was drafted early. Remember,
Yeah.
they took him in like
That's
the
what
top
you'd have
10.
to be though. You'd have to be like a top 15 pick or so.
Yeah, Bijan's 4 years, nearly 22 million for the contract. So yeah, no,
Yeah.
he's going.
Yep.
Even if you're late first round, early second round, you got to go if you're
Yep.
Genty.
Oh man, but he
He
would be
looks he'd look real good in crimson and
oh
cream.
my gosh. Woo. Who's he remind you of?
Nobody,
I know. That's why I asked it like that.
because it's almost like fake. You know what he reminds me of is the kid that went through puberty before everyone else and is just running through him.
Yeah, it's like he reminds me of how Tavon Austin looked whenever he was at running back,
Okay, I can see that.
but he's like more well built than that. But
Yeah,
that's kind of
he's
the way he moves, like in the open field. That's what he reminds me of.
you just made a bunch of OU fans almost vomit.
Yeah, well,
God,
go watch that. Go watch his film.
the stuff from I saw Dane Brugler put out like 5 clips of him against Washington State. It's unbelievable, dude.
I know, and I mentioned to you the comment I made is like it looks like he's like really not even trying.
It's fun to
It's
watch. Go
weird.
check it out. But I did not expect to have a Boise State game. I was really interested in the Oregon game, watched a lot of that game, but I did not expect to have a Boise State game the rest of the way circled on the calendar. But UNLV, Boise State, 9:30 p.m. kickoff on CBS Sports Network, October 25th. That's a Friday nighter.
Oh yeah.
I'll be staying up for that one, buddy.
Heck yeah. That'll be a good one. Some good players and one of the best safeties in the country for UNLV. That'll be a good one.
That will be fun. All right, my loser of the week. The streak is over, Ted. My streak of not watching a single Major League Baseball game in the year of our Lord 2024 has ended. It's that time of the year, baby. I'm all in. Playoff
Yeah.
baseball. Are you watching playoff baseball in the Lehman household or not? What are we doing?
It was on last night. The Padres game was on. I would be lying
Tatis
if
hit
I
that
said
ball to the damn moon.
he wasn't paying super close attention to it, but it was on.
So, for those of you that don't know this, I do not watch a single, not one. I don't watch a single regular season Major League Baseball game, but I love the playoffs. I love the tension. I love the wild card games. And so I watched baseball all Tuesday. I love watching postseason baseball, and I found myself cheering for the Royals.
Huh.
It just because of Bobby Witt Jr.
Yeah.
And he delivered. They win 1-0. He has the one RBI. How about that?
What a year, man. What
Guy
a
is an
year.
absolute stud. And Baltimore they're feeling nervous. I remember last year, people were very excited, got swept. They lose the next one, man. That'll be over for a couple of playoffs in a row when they've had some good teams,
Yep.
from what I understand from cramming once the playoffs get here. The Mets didn't make the playoffs till like Monday, is what I read. And they flew there and then just won in Milwaukee.
Yeah, they had to
Sure.
play I think did they play a doubleheader in
They had a
Atlanta?
makeup doubleheader and then one Monday. I did they fly there the day of the game? Did they fly there on Tuesday yesterday?
Had to have. Well, I
Crazy.
guess they could have done it late Monday, but yeah,
That's cool.
tough
But
back to back. I guess they're used to it though.
yeah, no, I think that the Padres, they jumped on the Braves early. Tatis is back. He's got his swag back, man. Nice win. And then I I don't like the Astros. Every time I watch, I find myself rooting against them. And the Tigers beat up on them 3-1. And I, it was my first time watching Tarek Skubal pitch.
Huh.
And that man is nasty. Oh,
Hmm.
lefty he was making some of those guys from the Astros look silly. That was fun to watch. My first Skubal experience.
First Scooble experience. I've yet to have a Scooble experience.
Highly recommend.
Yeah, the Astros. I feel like everyone hates them, and that hate gives them power in the playoffs. And the more people hate them, the better they play.
Well, Tarek Skubal did not care.
Yeah.
He was sitting guys down. I think it was 6 just rock solid innings from Skubal. I don't even know if I'm saying the guy's name right. I'm pretty sure that's it. But hey,
Scoobal.
I am I'm here for the playoff baseball.
Okay.
I'm going to do it again today. Got some drama. Wild card Wednesday. Let's go.
I like it.
Do you have a baseball team? Do you have one that you cheer for? I don't.
Not really.
Okay.
Not
Let's say
really. I kind of latch on to some individual players every now and then. Currently, I'm kind of a free agent
okay.
when it comes to
Well,
baseball.
yeah, it's kind of just a fun, neutral observer experience for me.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same.